In this video, we're going to continue topic 7.7, and we're going to look at explain 1. We are solving square root and 1/2 power equations. So a radical equation contains a variable with a radical or a variable with a raised non-integer rational power. So basically a fractional exponent. To solve a square root equation, or equivalently an equation involving a power of 1/2, you can square both sides of the equation to solve the resulting equation. Because opposite numbers have the same square, squaring both sides of an equation may introduce an apparent solution that is not an actual solution, an extraneous solution. For example, while only the solution of x equals 2 is 2, the equation that is the square of x squared equals 4 has two solutions, -2 and 2. But -2 is not a solution to the original equation. So we do have to be careful and watch for extraneous solutions, just like we did with rational equations. So I am looking at this first one, and I am going to start by moving my 2 to the other side by subtracting it. So I've got the square root of x plus 10 equals x minus 2. I cannot square both sides until I have just the radical on the one side. So now I'm going to square both sides, and when I square the right side, I have to put it around the binomial. So on the left side, I know my square and my square root cancel. I just get x plus 10. On the right side, however, this means x minus 2 times x minus 2, so I need to FOIL this. So we would get x squared. X times -2 would be -2x. I'd have another one in the middle, so I would add that together. I get -4x. And then -2 times -2 is +4. I've got a quadratic, which means that I need to get it equal to 0. So I'm going to move both of these to the right side. So when I move the x over, I get 4x minus x is -5x. When I move the 10 over, I get 4 minus 10 is -6. We're going to get out a good old magic x. Two numbers that multiply to -6 and add to -5 would be -6 and 1. We've got 0 equals x minus 6 times x plus 1. I'm going to do zero product property. And we've got x equals 6 and x equals -1. I do need to double check to see if I can put these answers both in. So I'm going to I'm going to go back to my original equation. I'm going to see if either one of these makes it extraneous. So when I put a 6 in here, I would have 2 plus the square root of 6 plus 10 is 16 equals 6. And as long as I'm getting a decent number, but let's just double check it. So square root of 16 is 4. That's a true statement. Okay. Now I'm going to put in the -1. So I get 2 plus square root of -1 plus 10 equals -1. 2 plus square root of 9 equals -1. Square root of 9 is 3. Ooh, check that out. It did not equal because it was equaling a negative number. So the negative number was extraneous, just like we saw in the explore exercise. All right, let's take a look at B here. So it doesn't really matter how you do this. If you wanted to rewrite these as radicals, you could. We could also just raise it to the second power. Not yet, actually. I'm not going to raise it to the second power yet. I got to move it over to the other side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get 1 on each side of the equation. So I've got x plus 6 to the 1/2 power equals 2x minus 4 to the 1/2 power. I added it over because it was a subtract right there. Now, I am going to raise each side to the second, which means that these guys cancel. If you wanted to convert it into radicals first, you could. So I get x plus 6 equals 2x minus 4. Nice, no quadratics, right? I'm going to choose to subtract the x over, which means I get x. And I'm going to add the 4 over, which means I get 10. So x is equal to 10. I am going to double check to make sure that this works. So I'm going to put it back into my original. So let's see, I have 10 plus 6 to the 1/2 minus 20. 2 times 10 is 20 minus 4 to the 1/2, and we're checking to see if it equals 0. So that's 16 to the 1/2 minus 16 to the 1/2 and we end up with that definitely is looks like 0.